Should Christians be celebrating Halloween? A highly anticipated question, highly controversial, but we're going to get into the roots of where Halloween started and how it turned into modern day Halloween, and if Christians should actually celebrate it. So diving into the roots of Halloween, we see that it started around 2,000 years ago as a Celtic festival in Ireland, in France, in Scotland, brought to celebrate Samhain, which is the end of fall turning into winter, where they believed on this one night souls could cross over from the living and the dead into one spiritual realm. So we can see that this kind of has a pagan root, and pagans were individuals in the Old Testament who purposely defiled God. But the funny thing is about this that Christians don't look at is that we actually combated this festival with All Saints' Day in the early Roman and Catholic churches. We called this Hallows Eve, where we celebrate those saints that were martyred. Then we see in medieval Europe that they actually had this practice called souling, where they would go to people's doors and trade cakes for prayers. And then all of a sudden down the line, we turn this into trick-or-treating, where kids go out with costumes, knock on people's doors, and get candy. We modernized this in America and made this a part of our culture. Now, does that mean that celebrating Halloween is a sin? Not necessarily, but it can turn into a sin. And here's why. So first of all, the reasons why I personally don't really celebrate Halloween anymore is, for one, I'm on status. I'm getting old. There's no point of me being like a 12-year-old kid, which I was, going out to people's doors, asking for candy, knocking on doors, trick or treat, whatever. That brings me to my second point is I actually don't put any of those toxins into my body. So I don't actually eat candy anymore. I eat super healthy. I want to protect and preserve my temple of the Lord. My third reason is because 95% of life is subconscious. That's why I don't watch scary movies. I don't listen to rap music anymore. Not that those things are actually sins, but they can create thought patterns that create sins. For example, when I was listening to rap music all the time, I was constantly thinking more about lustful thoughts or pride thoughts or even revenge thoughts. And same when I was watching scary movies. I remember this one time in third grade, I watched a horror movie with one of my friends, and then I got home that night, and for multiple days and even weeks on end, I slept with my covers over my head because I was scared that this horror fictional character would come out and like kill me in the middle of the night or somehow scare me in the middle of the night. And those thoughts are very fearful, and God tells us do not fear. And then of course the biggest thing is, what is your intention? For example, when I was 12 years old running around the neighborhood, I'll be honest, my friends and I, we were the people that would steal more than one candy when it said take one, and then we'd lie about it to our parents. So therefore we're committing two sins right there, lying and stealing. Here's the takeaway for a lot of individuals that are my age that celebrate Halloween is, what is your intention behind it? Are you going out wearing a lewd, lustful outfit, going to a party and getting super drunk, or maybe going out and smoking with your friends? Is that sinning? Yes. Is that leading you away from God? Yes. So those activities will always bring you not towards God's purpose. Therefore, we shouldn't celebrate and indulge in those practices. But otherwise, if you're just going out with friends, getting candy, having a fun time, just making it a night that you're totally just hanging out, then that is perfectly normal. Now, I did hear that witches go out on the street and people that are in the demonic realm sort of cast spells and do sorcery around the streets and so on. I get that, but blessings also come from Jesus. I guess my final question to you is, would Jesus be celebrating Halloween? Probably not. But would he be going out on the streets, saying prayers for people, healing people, casting out demons in his name? Absolutely. That is where it depends on what your heart posture is and what your intentions are with celebrating Halloween. If you have good intentions, go have fun. But if your intentions are going to lead you to sinful activities, then of course, in any realm, in any holiday, stay away. Stay blessed. Jesus loves you.